All right, so moving on to the final segment, I'll be sharing my AEW Revolution pay-per-view predictions. So this will be my AEW Revolution pay-per-view predictions. This will be the first AEW pay-per-view in the calendar year 2024. We will see how Revolution does next Sunday in the world of wrestling. So you have Christian Cage, who will be defending his TNT title against Daniel Garcia. I am honestly surprised that we're not getting part 3 of Christian Cage versus Adam Copeland and their feud that has started since Adam Copeland debuted in AEW. I thought Revolution would be the final time that we see the feud in AEW, and I thought this was the right time to write the final chapter in the feud between the two veteran wrestlers. But it looks like AEW had different plans, because I just thought it was the right moment, because you had Adam Copeland, who won the TNT title against Christian Cage at World's End in December 2023. Then he lost the title 2 minutes later again when Christian Cage used Kill Switch's opportunity to regain the title. So I thought with Adam Copeland over the last few months on Dynamite and Collision, for the main part of the Adam Copeland Open Challenge, he's been giving younger wrestlers an opportunity to hang in the ring with him. And I thought this has been great, and I thought this was a great way of preparing again for Christian Cage. But it looked like AEW had different options, a different route that they wanted to go for Revolution. But looking at this match for Christian Cage and Daniel Garcia, you have Christian Cage's heel run has been one of the greatest he's on one of the greatest runs in his wrestling career, and has been great in AEW. Been one of the best wrestlers that they have to offer on their roster today. His great heel run has been doing wonders for AEW, and he's just showing age is just a number, because he's nearly hitting the 50 mark, and he's still putting on great matches. He's still putting on a great show and can still fire great promos on the microphone, and is doing a great job showing this importance, bringing importance, prestige to the TNT Championship. He's on one of the greatest runs of his illustrious career. Then you have Daniel Garcia, who is one of the best young stars of AEW, one of the best youngest stars that they have to offer in the company right now. He has been great in 2024 with his matches with the House of Black. That who could forget that the steel cage match when he tagged up with FTR against the House of Black. He's had some great matches on Collision as of late, and Daniel Garcia, to me, has shown that he is ready to be a cornerstone option, a cornerstone face for All Elite Wrestling in the near future. But I think this is really the perfect time for Daniel Garcia to win the TNT Championship, and I think this is a good time to transition, to have a transition at the championship, have a new champion, because Daniel Garcia has shown why he could be one of the cornerstones for All Elite Wrestling. I believe Adam Copeland will interfere in this match and cost Christian Cage the title, and then you have Daniel Garcia, who will become the new TNT champion. I think will be a great champion. And then you can have the part 3 of Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. That feud really doesn't need a title, though. I think part 3 could be happening as soon as Big Business. That's just funny to think of, Tony Khan. Wow. But the Big Business AEW Dynamite that will be happening in mid-March in Boston, Massachusetts, is setting up to be a big show. But I think that's where we can see part 3 of Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage in that feud. But heading on to the next match, you have Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita. You had AEW, who signed Will Ospreay back in November. Will Ospreay has done a lot of work for AEW. Looking at this match at Forbidden Door against Kenny Omega, I think that ranks in one of the best matches in all of wrestling in 2023. He was there in All In his match at Wembley Stadium against Chris Jericho. So he's been doing some great matches. He's been doing some great work for AEW, but he's never signed with the company. He signed the contract back in November. This will actually be Will Ospreay's first match as a member of All Elite Wrestling in the ring with Konosuke Takeshita in March, or at Revolution. So here we go again. Like I just said in the last segment, AEW does not know how to tell stories. And you're just giving me a match with Will Ospreay and Takeshita with really no story. I mean, Will Ospreay hasn't even been in AEW. He's been elsewhere and has not been there to build a story. So why are we getting this match on an AEW pay-per-view? Both guys were a part of the Don Callis family. I mean, I guess if that's what you want to say is the story. It's just not big enough for me to sell a story. And again, AEW needs to tell stories, not just give me a random match that you think Dave Meltzer is going to have a wet dream over and give it a 4 or 5 star match. But I'm guessing Will Ospreay is going to become a babyface in this match. And with Takeshita being a part of the Don Callis family, having deep ties with the Don Callis family at this point. But I think this match between Will Ospreay and Takeshita could steal the show. And I'm going to go with Will Ospreay to win this match. I think it's the right booking decision to have Will Ospreay win his first match with All Elite Wrestling. So I'm going to go with Will Ospreay to win this match. Then you have Eddie Kingston versus Bryan Danielson in a winner-take-all match where Eddie Kingston will be defending his Ring of Honor title, his New Japan Strong Championship, and his Continental Crown Championship against Bryan Danielson. Now, Eddie Kingston has had the best wrestling year last year he had the best wrestling year of his career in 2023. You look at what he did in 2023. He got his moments. Eddie Kingston has been working his tail off on the independent scenes for Ring of Honor his whole entire, and you could say New Japan Pro Wrestling, his whole entire wrestling career. But he never had that moment that we can say he won the big one. He started getting those moments in late 2023 when he beat Claudio Castagnoli for the Ring of Honor World title. Then, in late December, when the Continental Classic was going on, Eddie Kingston lost his first 2 matches in the Continental Classic when he actually put his Ring of Honor World title and the New Japan Strong title up for grabs, with the Continental Classic Championship being there as well. So, as I take a sip of water, you had Eddie Kingston beat Bryan Danielson in the semifinals. Then you had him beat Jon Moxley for him to win all 3 of the titles. So Eddie Kingston is hot as a forest fire right now. He's coming off the biggest year of his career last year. And that's great because the man deserves it. But I like the storyline that's brewing between Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson. You have Bryan Danielson, who's looking to avenge his loss in the semifinals in the Continental Classic. In that match we saw with Eddie Kingston, the final AEW Dynamite before the AEW World's End pay-per-view. But I think this is going to be a really great match. I think this is another match that could potentially steal the show. But I'm going to go with Eddie Kingston to successfully retain all 3 of his titles against Bryan Danielson at Revolution. I do believe this is going to be a hard-hitting affair. This is going to be a hard-hitting match between Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson, 2 wrestlers that have shown in the past they're willing to dish out punishment. They're willing to take punishment in order to give us elite caliber matches. And I think that we're going to see that at Revolution. So I think this could be this could go down as one of the best matches in Eddie Kingston's career when he gets to the ring against Bryan Danielson at Revolution. But I do believe that that AEW will continue to push Eddie Kingston to the moon. I do believe that he's going to have a great run as the Continental champion, the Ring of Honor champion, and the New Japan Strong Style champion or Strongweight champion. But I do believe that Bryan Danielson, on his last full-time run as a wrestler, does not need a title to define his legacy. He can still have great matches with wrestlers all around the world and doesn't need a title for his final run. So why not give Eddie Kingston another moment and another big win in his career against Bryan Danielson at Revolution? But heading on to the next match, you have Orange Cassidy, who will be defending his international title against Roderick Strong. Now, AEW really has a big job to do in this match, and that's putting over Roderick Strong. And they cannot miss out on this opportunity. They gotta hit it on the head for Roderick Strong, because at AEW World's End, when MJF lost the world title to Samoa Joe, you had Adam Cole, who revealed himself as the Devil, and that's when the Undisputed Kingdom was born. And the Undisputed Kingdom has gained momentum, but they kind of lost it because Adam Cole is still not medically cleared to compete. So You got guys like Wardlow, Mike Bennett, Matt Taven, Roderick Strong still trying to put over the group. But this is an important moment for the Undisputed Kingdom. And Orange Cassidy has done a great job as the international champion in his 2 title reigns. He's really brought prestige and honor to that international title. Made it feel as important as a world title because in 2020, in the summer of 2023, I think it was at AEW All Out, you had Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley actually main event the pay-per-view for the international title. So the title, Orange Cassidy has made this title mean something. Has actually defended the title over 45 times in his 2 title reigns. So Orange Cassidy has done a great job putting this title, making this title mean something. But this is really the right time for Roderick Strong to win the international championship, and AEW cannot fumble this opportunity because you have to establish the Undisputed Kingdom as the most dominant faction, one of, if not the most dominant faction in AEW. Because if you have Roderick Strong lose this match, I think the Undisputed Kingdom loses credibility, because you're already losing credibility not having Adam Cole compete on a weekly basis. You already have Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, who are the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. Might as well let Roderick Strong win the international title, and the group collects more championships. I think that's how you put this new group over and establish it as one of the biggest factions in wrestling today. So they have to nail this. Whether Roderick Strong wins the match clean, or whether he gets some help, he has to win this match and has to become the new international champion against Orange Cassidy. Then the next match, you have Toni Storm, who will be defending her AEW Women's World Title against Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna Purrazzo, as I get tongue tied. But heading into this match, Toni Storm's character has been really interesting over the last few months. I think she has found something very great with her character right now. I think she's the best woman in the women's division for AEW right now, hands down, and has done a great job in her women's world title reign as the women's world champion. Tony Khan has also did a great job establishing Deonna Purrazzo as a threat in the women's division. They booked her well. They booked her correctly since she signed with All Elite Wrestling in the beginning of 2024. So they made her feel important in this division. I think Deonna Purrazzo's time will come, but I just don't think it's going to happen at Revolution. And I think right now, AEW has gold right now in the palm of their hands, with Toni Storm holding the AEW Women's World Title. So I do believe that Toni Storm will successfully retain her Women's World Title against Deonna Purrazzo at Revolution. Then you have Samoa Joe, who will be defending his AEW World Title against Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland in a 3-way match. I think Samoa Joe will have success in this match. I'll get onto that in a second. But Samoa Joe won the AEW World Title against MJF at AEW World's End in 2023. And he ended MJF's world title reign, yearly world title reign, the longest AEW world title reign in the company's history, and the end of 2023. But then when you add Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland to this match, it makes it even more better. It makes the 3-way match even more better, because Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland have given us great singles matches over the last few months. And when you have a veteran guy, a veteran wrestler that has seen it all in Samoa Joe to the mix, you're going to have a great 3-way match. But with that being said, I'm going to go with Samoa Joe to successfully retain his AEW World Title against Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. I just think it's too fast to let Samoa Joe drop the title. He just won the title against MJF in December. In AEW's history, we really haven't seen a transitional champion, a champion that drops the title very quickly, unless your name is CM Punk, you're out injured, or due to backstage politics. So I think it's too early to have Samoa Joe drop the title. I think there's more stories to be written with Samoa Joe being the world champion. But Hangman Adam Page, I just don't see AEW putting the title on him. He's been booked a little weak over the last few weeks. Swerve Strickland will get his moment, but I don't think it's going to happen at Revolution. I think Samoa Joe is going to retain his title in a great three-way match between himself, Hangman Adam Page, and Swerve Strickland. Then, the match that I personally think is going to main event Revolution is Sting and Darby Allin when they defend their tag team titles against the Young Bucks. Now, I believe this is going to be the right call for have Sting to main event the Revolution pay-per-view, because it's been set in stone for months, since I think November, when Sting actually came out and announced that Revolution would be his last AEW match. So it's the end of an era, end of an iconic wrestling career, end of an Hall of Fame career. Sting's 39-year wrestling career is going to come to an end. He's going to wrestle his final match of Revolution. But Sting has wrestled for the top tier wrestling promotions all over the world. In his 39-year wrestling career, he's seen it all, he's done it all. He's wrestled in WCW, he's wrestled in WWE, he's wrestled in TNA, and he's wrestled in AEW. I don't think there's ever been a wrestler in wrestling history that can say they wrestled in all four promotions. I mean, Ric Flair can say he's been signed with all four promotions, but he can never say there's not a guy in wrestling history that could say they competed for all four of those big companies in their wrestling career. So hats off to Sting, improving age is just a number, and proving that longevity can happen in wrestling. But I really thought that Sting's final match really should have been against Darby Allin. I think that would have been an incredible final match for Sting. It could have been a way of passing the torch for Darby Allin as the future of wrestling, but I understand why AEW didn't go with that route. Sting is 64 years old, and he did have his career nearly ended at Night of Champions back in 2015 in WWE when he suffered that scary injury when he faced Seth Rollins. So I get AEW for being comfortable and being safe and playing it safe for Sting's final match, but if Sting could do it, I would have him in a singles match against Darby Allin. That's how I would have Sting go out. But I get the idea of Sting wanting to have the Young Bucks get a chance to have a match with him in his final match. A lot of people were a little upset about it, thought it could have went to somebody that was more deserving, somebody that Sting could have put over with established tag team as the Young Bucks that have been one of the best tag teams of the 21st century. I do understand fans' frustration of thinking Nick and Matt want more attention than they already get. But I'm okay with the match. But I think there's two options to this. AEW can't really go wrong in this situation, because you can have Darby Allin and Sting retain the tag team titles, and you have Sting right off into the sunset. Or you could have the Young Bucks win the tag team titles and spoil Sting's final career match and having him end his career with a loss, growing heat on the Young Bucks as they are as they're going through their new heel run right now in AEW. So it's a win-win situation. But with that being said, I'm gonna go with Darby Allin and Sting to successfully retain their tag team titles against the Young Bucks. I do believe that it only makes sense for Sting and Darby Allin to retain the tag team titles because Revolution is going to be taking place in the Greensboro Coliseum, the same arena where Sting beat Ric Flair in a legendary match back in 1988. It only makes sense for Sting to ride off into the sunset and win his final match and successfully retain the tag team titles with himself and Darby Allin. But those are my AEW Revolution pay-per-view predictions. That is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.